Studio Galaxy 473 in Confaro. And we're back again with you, and you're well informed that once you're on the program, you have the opportunity to give us a call. The number to call is 410-3030. We provoke discussion on this topic. This morning, the first session is the agricultural program, and we are on rural development. Rural development. At one time, we were talking about St. Andrews Economic Zone. We're looking at rural development. The hurricane destroyed the economic development of the northern part of the parish.
Yeah.
When we have a crisis, we mustn't panic. We must always sit down and look at the opportunities that come from Mother Nature cleansing themselves. Sometimes Mother Nature find we're not doing things correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Or they find we too comfortable. We sit down and we blessed assurance too much. So Mother Nature shake us up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good opportunity. It's a good time for us to sit down and provoke discussion about rural development. Remember, Grenada exported cocoa, nutmeg, fish, and soursop. That was our main agricultural exports.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nutmeg don't like hurricane, and hurricane don't like nutmeg. So you go kill some nutmeg farmers. You no question about that. And nutmeg take 10 years to mature.
Mm-hmm.
And cocoa maybe 3, 4, 5 years.
Okay.
Soursop, you get it faster, maybe 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, you could get back into soursop.
Yeah.
So the export market, the economy of those who are involved are in tatters.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, we depend quite a lot on tourism, and that is fragile.
Right.
And then we're making a lot of money now from selling passports. But that again is fragile.
Right.
So perhaps now is the proper time for us to look at the rural development. And Joshua is right here with us, the right person, with us in the Holy Comforter. And we are in the Holy Comforter, in the Paraclete.
Yes.
And we discuss in rural development. Joshua, now
Good.
is the correct time for us to have this discussion on rural
Yes.
development.
Yeah. Well, good morning to everybody worldwide. I'm happy to be here again today. But before we jump into rural development, I think we need to bring those of you who probably not aware that there's been some initiative from the government, good initiative in terms of comfort package or aid packages for the farmers. So farmers, if you're not aware, contact your extension officers. But essentially, I think it's almost 4 weeks since Beryl passed. And so the response by government has been, fairly good in terms of coming up with a package for Grenada. Carriacou is slightly different. I'm not sure whether they finished the package for Carriacou as well. Carriacou a bit more intensive. But Grenada lost about 85% of its agricultural production zone. So we have quite a lot to do in Grenada, but the landmass in Grenada that has been affected is greater than the landmass in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. So that has to be borne in mind. Now, Mr. Pierre and I started talking about an economic development zone for St. Andrews a few weeks ago. We mentioned it that the current system has not worked very well for us. We've had the system for about 50 odd years, and then maybe another 200 years before that, when it was directly linked, mainly banana, to the UK, and we lost the banana export market because of some trade issues. Now, since we've been independent, we've just carried on the same system as we've always had, and it really hasn't worked. The last report that we've had is that agriculture had declined by about 6% in terms of its productive value. So, what do we do? We have a declining agriculture system. We're trying to develop food security. We're involved in a project called 2025, which is to reduce our food import bill by 25% by 2025. We have a system that we know is not working, and everybody seems to be happy with just continuing with the system as it is. Something that we know has not been working, but we continue. We have the government estates, maybe 4 or 5 estates, and they have not been productive. They have not been productive to their potential capacity for years. They privatized their estates. That proved to be futile. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked so badly that most of the estate that were privatized has been taken over by grass. If you pass through them, I live close to Granby Estate, which is a beautiful estate with water running through it, flat land, and some of the land is leased out to private farmers. They're farming, but the vast majority of the state is really non-productive. We were due to have some modern tractors so that preparation could be done for planting. That hasn't been done. I understand a lot of the estate workers who, not been critical, but have not always been very productive. A lot have been let go. So the estate is just being um, run on a string, really. Just keep going without any real value coming from it. So we have that barrel devastated so many of the farmers in St. Andrews and the northern parishes. So, what I'm saying is that we need to think differently. We need to try something different. I don't know what the answer really is, but we want to stimulate discussion by looking at a rural development zone whereby it's run as a business. We have a chief executive, we have a board, we have staffing, and the resources for agriculture would be channeled through that rural development agency. The chief executive will be charged with a task in terms of outcomes, and he or she will be judged by that. So the role of the rural development agency would be production would be one, employment generation would be another goal. Uh, training skills should be involved in that. And to support such an agency, you would have to finance it, so it will have to have things like small equipment. It will have to have the tractor services, which are critical, as well as having things like chainsaws and other things to till the land, the tillers, etc. We'll also have to have incentives for farmers, young and old, but we really want to attract younger farmers into agriculture. And how do we incentivize them to come into agriculture? We know as a society, be it Grenada, America, etc., money is a great incentivier. How do we get money into young people's hand to incentivize them to work in agriculture? How do we make it profitable for them? Because part of the issues for certain parts of agriculture is that it's hard work. The traditional crops, I think Mr. Pierre had said to me, that is a romantic kind of crop that you make movies with, but you don't make money from. And the evidence that I've seen over the years seems to support his conclusion in terms of the cocoa industry. The nutmeg industry, I'm not sure it's much different. So to try and get young people to be involved in that industry, it's an uphill struggle. So how do we get the money into agriculture? I know like the cash crop has potential in terms of generating money and quickly, and young people would like that. But the infrastructure, where the biggest money is, has not been set up. The link between agriculture and tourism is non existent. It's like, hit and miss with that. Some hotels will take some produce from farmers, some wouldn't. They'll take it when it suits them. They will not give any contract. So we don't have a really organized system to benefit from linking tourism with agriculture. But if we did, that will be a money spinner for young and old farmers who are doing cash crop. I'm sure we could do things with, the traditional crops like the nutmeg. We can get, people to do the secondary uses of nutmeg and cocoa. I saw somewhere where they were making the cocoa drink with the raw cocoa, grinding it and making it into some kind of healthy drink. So those are potentials in terms of that. But we need to have a different approach in terms of how do we stimulate the agriculture sector. Um, we can't continue using the old system that doesn't work, and people are employed and have the comfort of receiving the wages, but nothing really is moving forward. So, Mr. Pierre, what's your thoughts in terms of trying to move the agricultural sector forward? Everybody says how important agriculture is. Everybody says we need a new approach, but what is this new approach? I never hear them saying the new approach is A, B, C, D, E, F.
Yeah. Sometimes people talk about new approach and etc. without actually zeroing on. And I like to zero in on.
Okay, that'll be wonderful because
So you have some big farmers in Grenada, and perhaps some of the big farmers you have in St. Andrews here, we have Ramdani. We have the foresters, we have Nyack Estate, and etc.
yeah,
And I believe most of these farmers do tree crops. So they were being badly affected by the hurricane with the cocoa nutmeg. I think government should provide some incentive
Mm-hmm.
for farmers. And every time we say incentive, we think it's money.
Yeah.
Incentives is not necessarily money.
Mm-hmm.
It's technical assistance.
Mm-hmm.
Technical assistance to convince them they must sell to these farmers to go in small ruminant
Mm-hmm.
livestock.
Mm-hmm.
These people have over 50, 60 acres of land,
Mm-hmm.
and they can fence the land
Mm-hmm.
and they could grow the crops while they graze.
Right, right.
A sort of for a portion of the day, you graze your sheep in the area. Some people would not have to interfere with goat
Yeah.
because goat tend to be more destructive than sheep.
Yeah.
For instance, sheep do not eat soursop,
Mm-hmm.
and you may not find sheep back in nutmeg trees.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they could do some damage to cocoa,
Mm-hmm.
but if you grow graze your sheep for particular hours,
Mm-hmm.
that could work.
Right.
The next so these I went at these big farmers.
Mm-hmm.
We somewhat like landless farmers.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we talk about sheep, a small ruminant, we talk about people who don't have land.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have land, don't interfere with small ruminant. You have a caller on the line? Yeah, we caller you caller you live on a program. You're live on this program. You're live on a program, caller. You want to join us? Yeah, please give us back a call. Lost that caller. Give us back a call. Caller, you're live on a program today on Studio Galaxy and with the Galaxy Equalizers. Yes, every time you talk about that, people think government feel the people go ask for money.
Mm-hmm.
But you could help them in fencing.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, we have a lot of government provide concession for farmers for agriculture. So they could fence. Yes, let's take that call. Yes, caller, welcome, and you're live. Caller, you're live on
Good
a program.
morning.
Yes, caller.
Oh, okay. Call me back later, please.
All right, thank you. Yes, I know that caller didn't want to. Yes, so yeah. Another government should invest in is CMOS.
Mm-hmm.
CMOS is a very worthwhile. They have a long storage time.
Mm-hmm.
After you produce CMOS, you can store CMOS for a very long time, and you could harvest CMOS every month,
Mm-hmm.
at least every month. The soursop industry, government should have a master plan
Mm-hmm.
to get back involved in soursop because
Okay.
soursop is 18 months, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the fastest in the tree crops,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a market for it,
Right.
and we can't satisfy the market.
Yeah. So soap is a good crop. Has a good return on the investment. I like what you were saying in terms of the bigger farmers portioning part of their estate for livestock. Livestock also, grass-fed livestock, really is a premium market, especially for the hotels, for those kinds of stuff. People,
1 pound of mutton or sheep or goat meat now is about $15 to $20 a pound.
you would be surprised that will fetch even a bigger premium price with the hotels if we can market those things. Steaks, for example. I went to get a steak a little while ago. I think a friend who owns the restaurant in Sea Moon wanted steaks for Mother's Day, and the people who import the steaks into Grenada were telling me it's $80 a steak. I thought, whoa, that's crazy, and it's not grass-fed steak. So you could imagine if we organize our market in a way, and this always seems to be the problem. We don't have organized systems, organized market, and so you have everybody feeding into that system, that organized market. We know that system works for us because we know we've done it with banana, albeit the system was imposed from outside. But
It works.
it
It
works,
works.
and we also know the system in terms of nutmeg works as well. People
Works.
might say it's
It works.
inefficient,
It was
but
it
it
working.
works.
Cocoa work.
It works. All those things work. You can criticize how efficient they are, and I may agree with you. But again, if we are selling steaks, we need an organized system whereby one distributor distribute all the steaks to the various outlets, and we have the outlets and we have the demands. We have a demand for goat meat. We can't even
We
begin.
can't satisfy it.
We can't satisfy
We
it.
can't satisfy it.
Yeah. So we need to take a
We
different
can't
approach.
satisfy sauce up.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
So
can't satisfy the market.
yeah.
But what's about the flowers market?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We should dabble in
Mm-hmm.
the flowers market,
Yeah.
particularly in areas of the higher belt where
Mm-hmm.
people have suffered so badly.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And again, we need that rural development agency with the proper staffing, the proper resources in order to champion the different sectors. Because that's what we have to do. We have to have somebody in charge, championing the different sectors, especially sectors like the flowers, because we've complained as Grenadians for years about the flowers. We win in Chelsea every year, but we don't have a homegrown market for our flowers produce. We have the criticism every so often about flowers where it's usually somebody from abroad who comes in and have the link with the hotels to provide the flowers. The local people really don't get a share in terms of the market and making a living from it. But every year, the news comes out. Once again, we win gold at Chelsea Flower Show. Grenadians are very proud in terms of their flowers winning gold, but it doesn't drift down or it doesn't trickle down as some people may say. Often the term now is that trickle down doesn't work. But we don't have an organized market for all the glory that we get from the Chelsea Flower shows. We don't have that local organized market in terms of the flowers. So I've been really thinking a lot about why is it that our system appears not to be producing the results that we want. And I think from my observation, this is what's happening in terms of a lot of the sectors. We have the idea. So the idea that we have is that agriculture is important. We need to support agriculture. And we talk agriculture up. But year after year, we don't see any kind of real investment in agriculture. The agricultural budget is usually to support the staffing of the Ministry of Agriculture. There's not really any new money that goes into agriculture to develop the agricultural sector. We might have one or two projects that we have written and get approved by an international agency, but on the main, we don't have that investment in agriculture. Secondly, in terms of what I see is that we don't have anybody that we hold responsible for the lack of achievement in terms of agriculture. Many will say, well, what about the minister? What about the chief extensions officer, the chief officer of agriculture? But the system really is not designed to hold these people accountable for the lack of growth and the lack of production in terms of agriculture. So I think what really has to be done is that there has to be a strategic production plan for agriculture. Yes, we start off, we want uh, to increase agriculture production, but how do we increase the production? What system that's different that we're going to put in place? What's the plan that we are going to develop for the use of our mangoes? Mangoes are a seasonal crop that we have yearly, and most people will complain, well, most of the mangoes goes to waste. We fought a good fight to have mangoes to be able to be exported to the United States, but over the last couple of years, I don't think any mangoes have really been exported to the United States. Recommendation was made that we use the various outlets for GCNA to collect the mangoes and to then have it shipped out to the United States by one business, so that we can create a system similar to how we export cocoa or nutmeg, but that hasn't been followed up. So we still have the same system of mangoes wasting on the street. We still don't have the level of secondary processing that are possible in terms of mangoes, how we use mangoes in different ways. So essentially, we're still at this stage where we grow mangoes and we hope to sell it. If we don't sell it, it spoils.
Perhaps we have a long, long way to go. And that's how I always say we have to zero in on the niches that can bring result very quickly. Because we have farmers now who are relatively perhaps frustrated and stressed out. They're contemplating how are we going to plant back nutmeg. So perhaps there must be a discussion that farmers don't go and plant 5 acres of nutmeg with 5 acres of land there. Maybe they plant 2 acres of nutmeg.
Right.
Maybe they introduce 1/4 of the land with soursop.
Right.
Maybe they fence that portion of the land and use livestock.
Yeah.
So they have nutmeg, they have soursop, and they still grow some livestock. They don't have to have much livestock. Sometimes they have a unit of 12 female sheep. That would able to do all the general cleaning of the land, so they don't have to spend money to weeds and etc. And if you plant the land, maybe you use munga and trichantera, you could use that as a food for the animals, but you could also use it like a food to eat for yourself.
Right.
Maybe the Ministry of Agriculture have to establish their farms as a model.
Yeah.
And their farm must be used as a training center.
But that idea, I would imagine, has been around for the past 50
But has never been implemented.
Yeah. Why has it not been implemented, and what can we do to encourage the implementation?
What we need perhaps is the discussion wider, because one political group come in and they don't know what to do and they don't want to do what the others was doing.
Right.
So one of the things they're sure they're not doing is what the others started.
Right.
So you just find a change in it. But if that discussion is among farmers, then it would propagate. Beekeeping is another area that we are not going in a serious way. And I'm not talking about Grenada alone. All the Caribbean leaders, including the University of the West Indies, need to concentrate on beekeeping. We used to bring queen from Hawaii. Hawaii used to supply a lot of places in the world with queens because of the level of diseases. You don't want to bring queen from the African mainland, nor South America, Guyana, or the United States. So Hawaii was decided that was relatively clean. But the University of the West Indies over the years should be able to train people to produce queens in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
And then they will be selling queens perhaps to America and Guyana and Africa and etc.
Yeah.
So we have the niche market is there.
Mm-hmm.
But the people we have trained in agriculture is not interested.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why perhaps more emphasis have to be placed in training to the people that is interested.
Right, right.
I'm not wasting my money and saying nobody and do PhD. If you want to do a PhD, go and do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Because when they do PhD, they're not doing any publication.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want your best brain to be in the forefront of the battle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, come on. If you train your special squad and your special squad hiding, you will lose the war.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and in agriculture, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The flowers industry, you hear a number of environmentalists, and these environmentalists is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
I always say sometimes this climate change is a hoax, you know, because these same environmentalists, they have two cars. They're using aerosol spray, and they have hair from 19 different countries, and they're telling you about the conscience about the environment.
Yeah, but Mr.
But even the environmentalists should be pushing natural flowers.
Yeah, but remember, we just had Beryl in terms of environment.
That don't have nothing to do with the environment. The human factor. I practically support Trump's original position here. Trump has modified his position for political expediency.
Mm-hmm.
But when he said these environmental issues are hoax, I was on his side.
Yeah.
Now, even the individuals are in the forefront of the environment in Grenada. They are not doing nothing to change the environment, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Except some cosmetic change for them to get money.
But the Caribbean argue that they don't do anything to damage the environment.
So
but
why are they making all this issue with the environment?
But they suffer the consequences
Right.
of the developed world, what the developed world
So
has
they
done.
can get a lot of money from the environment. And that is a hoax. And then the worst thing is, when you get the money, well, develop your country. Now.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not using the money they get from a hoax to develop the country.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have somebody tell me them is environmentalists. When you watch them, you think they make them in the lab here.
Mm-hmm.
Artificial alone, aerosol spray, 2 vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't reflect.
They
what
don't
they're
live the
speaking
lifestyle
about. They don't live the life.
of conservation.
Yeah.
They
So-
live the lifestyle of abundance.
So in Grenada now,
Mm-hmm.
new government should use the government estate as a model.
Yeah, I agree.
Model.
Mm-hmm.
So the government fence around the government estate, put what percentage you advising the farmer to put in nutmeg.
Yeah.
The percentage you advising the farmer to put in cocoa depends on the belt, you use that. You have soursop, then you have bees in it. And the government could use the estate to train people.
Yeah.
And they could use the estate as a research center. So let us suppose the government tell you, I want you to go in rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
You ask, how much rabbits do I have to produce to come up with an income of $3,000 a month?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a fair $3,000 a month, $36,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fair quantum to exist and survive.
Okay. Yeah.
The government's supposed to tell you, well, this is how much you must go.
Yeah. This is the quantum you need to do to have a livelihood.
Because the government have a farm, a rabbitry, a rabbit farm on Grandba Estate. And they say, this is what we produce.
Mm-hmm.
So what you find is some book agricultural experts.
Mm-hmm.
They have not practiced anything. And when a new idea comes, they kill it
Mm-hmm.
immediately because they are book giants.
They eviscerate it right
Yes,
there
they
and there.
destroy it one time.
Yeah.
Now the farmer have to decide what percentage of my land I'm going to plant back in nutmeg. Farmers should plant back nutmeg.
Mm-hmm.
The Nutmeg Society should be telling the farmer, we cannot plant nutmeg the distance we used to plant it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's plant it 50 feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let us grow a shorter version of nutmeg
Mm-hmm.
or cut the nutmeg top.
Yeah. And that makes good sense
Let-
what you're saying.
Is it important to plant the nutmeg deeper?
Mm-hmm.
Because since nutmeg seems as a fibrous root,
Mm-hmm.
if we plant it deeper, would it better?
Mm-hmm.
You see, these things must be there.
Dwarf
Yeah,
nutmeg trees.
dwarf nutmeg tree. So a nutmeg tree don't grow more than 10 feet.
Yeah.
Maybe the branches stretch out long.
And we had a guest who joined us before the program kicked off this morning. And he was saying, he was saying two things. He was saying that he was a celebrity. And he was saying that what we need to do is to have the net under the nutmeg tree, which I thought was interesting. And I could agree with him on that one. The celebrity bit, I wasn't too sure. But he was saying, let's put a net under the nutmeg tree and let the net catch the nutmeg as it falls down. So it'll be less back-breaking work. You could just pick it up from the net. Or look for other ideas where we could make the work easier and encourage young people to get involved in the sector. So
This idea have been around the country for about 40, 50 years.
not implemented.
But who go bail the cat? And I've always said the government should experiment with that.
Mm-hmm.
The government must believe some farmers mad.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of farmers, they may not be making money, but they look crazy.
Yeah.
If you want farmers to spend money to put net on the nutmeg tree, then you go and try it on the government estate.
Yeah.
Now we have to come to the conclusion that government estate don't have to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Government estate have to be the template, the model that shows farmer how to do things. That able to tell us if we do it that way, we will make that money. That break even. Because once you're in agriculture and you're talking about to use agriculture to increase employment, you're in trouble. The farmer want to cut down on labor to make more money. But government is the biggest employer in our country. So that is not necessarily government objective. Government creates employment. So when government say we want to encourage the farmers to go in agriculture to create employment, that is not right. But the government could say on that farm, we using 15 workers here, but we have experimented with pilot projects, and you could use 5 workers. Because government use the estate as a training center. We have to stop that young people that come out to school get the impression agriculture don't making money. They have bad teachers.
Right.
The teachers don't good. Anytime a young person come out to school and tell me about agriculture doesn't make money, I say your teacher don't good.
Or maybe not aware of the potential.
But the teacher don't good. If he is aware, if a child go to school and a teacher teaching economics, agriculture, mathematics, almost any subject, they must understand that the land is important. You can't build nothing in the sky. And people use land for real estate. They use land for agriculture purposes. Or they use land to dig for diamond and gold. And most of the farmers in Grenada here, from yesteryear, that in other commercial business, is the money they make from land that they start the other commercial business.
Yeah. But Mr. Pierre, let me ask you one thing, because you have the historical knowledge in terms of this area. Why do you think we've not been more successful with agriculture in Grenada? Can you put your fingers on anything that has held us back or is holding us back?
After the banana industry collapse, there was not a dollar owner. Now you see the farmer had the land, and every week or every 2 weeks he makes money from banana. And the money he make from banana used to help him to keep the workers to maintain coconut nut. So once banana move out, the authorities that did not understand that.
Okay, they didn't understand the relationship between banana and the rest of the farm and the sustainability. They didn't understand how the relationship sustainability worked.
They didn't understand that. So A farmer would, you work with banana for 2 days,
Mm-hmm.
but the farmer would guarantee you employment for 5 days
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because he had banana.
Right, right, right.
Once banana move out,
Mm-hmm.
now cocoa is from between, let's say, November and February, March.
Mm-hmm.
And cocoa don't have much of a maintenance once it's established.
Mm-hmm.
Nutmeg, the farmer could pay you to go and pick up the nutmeg once a week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So automatically, once banana go,
Mm-hmm.
this dollar owner
Mm-hmm.
missed from the rural economy, and that started the destruction of the rural economy.
Right.
And our intelligentsia, because most of them are book experts, they did not understand that.
Mm.
This because they saw the farmers dirty. When I hear people talking about dirty with farmer, I feel insulted.
Mm-hmm.
Soil is not dirty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when a farmer work the soil, he's not doing dirty work.
Mm-hmm.
Soil is not dirty.
Yeah.
People used to eat soil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
People tell their children, go and get me some soil, some dust, some clean dust.
Mm-hmm.
And every child in rural Grenada know what was clean dust.
Mm-hmm.
They would never take it from the house.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go in areas where you don't move around much,
Mm-hmm.
where you don't plant nothing, no
Yeah.
vegetation,
Mm-hmm.
and go and take the dust for the mother to eat
Mm-hmm.
because the mother was pregnant
Yeah, yeah,
and the body tell her wanted iron.
yeah, yeah.
So
So-
they used dust.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, listening to you in terms of the relationship on the Grenada farm, because the Grenada farms are quite unique in terms of their setup. They tend to be small, but quite unique. What you just shared a minute or two ago was like a university lecture for me listening it. I wonder if you could just go through that relationship again between the banana and the cocoa, and because I think people need to understand that, and quite often I think these are the things that's missing, the practicality of how things actually work. You know, we all say we want better production in agriculture, etc. But how do we do it? You know, what you were sharing was the relationship of how things work. It was like a biology of the body, how the body work. And I don't think we understand that in agriculture.
A good example is an individual from the Holy Comforter you call Brehud. He was a giant in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps one of the most humble men I knew.
Mm-hmm.
Very respectful,
Mm-hmm.
a powerful giant, and a great farmer.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a discussion with him while I was to school.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the Banana Society want to stop him from shipping banana
Mm-hmm.
because they claim he have poor quality.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he spoke about the road, etc. He tell me, these people crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I have 69 workers.
Mm-hmm.
The Banana Society never take into consideration that Hoodoo Forester employed 69 workers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he said they want to stop me from shipping banana. What go happen to me workers?
Mm-hmm.
He never said what go happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
He said what go happen to me workers.
Mm-hmm.
I have 69 workers. So in those days I engaged the head of the banana management board and said to him, come with solution. He said, we tired with the man. He's shipping poor quality. I said, well, put an extension officer to work with that man.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell me I'm crazy. They say you got put an extension officer to work with one man.
Mm-hmm.
I say not one man, 70 persons.
Mm-hmm.
Because he have 69 workers.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They didn't stop him from shipping banana, but it was like a toucher.
Yeah.
They was on him because his quality. The road was bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is what we have not understood in Grenada. And even now today,
The
I
nuts
don't
and bolt.
think the expert understand relationship
Mm-hmm.
between crops.
And that's what I think has been difficult, because we're talking about an economic zone, a rural development model. And I talked a little bit about how we set it up in terms of having a board of expert, proper expert, not people who want to sit on a board, people who can contribute to a board in terms of
Not
agriculture,
paper experts.
not paper
We
expert.
have to be very careful when we say proper expert, what we mean.
Hmm.
Because we have a guy with a master's in management. That is one of the reasons that kills things here. You have a master's degree. The guy have a master's degree. His mother had a rum shop, and the mother was selling pigs and fowls and etc.
Hmm.
And the rummers used to say, she mixed up the rum. The rum weak. And one rummer said, don't worry, man, she child in university, she had to send money to the child. At some, see, they used to call some rummers, they say he's a druggist.
Yeah.
You know? He had the formula for rum. That is when men used to drink whole day and don't get drunk
No, gosh.
in the rum shop.
All
Whole
right.
day they're drinking.
Yeah.
But they're able to walk home.
Yeah.
Because the very rum shop man, they call him a druggist.
A drug.
Sometimes when a man offer you a drink, he's shaking his head to tell you don't take it. No, we abandon relationship and we become very dismissive
Yeah. Yeah.
of these individuals without certification.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same malady
Mhm.
that the government face now, you know.
Mhm.
They don't understand the relationship on the ground. So once Banana was officially open,
Mhm.
that individual moved from 69 permanently employed people to about 10.
Mm. Yeah. It destroys.
And the women who was employed went home.
Oh goodness.
And they keep
Yeah.
the man and them.
Yeah.
And now because Banana was not there anymore, and you had to pick up, they start to spray between the cocoa.
Okay. Okay.
So they will take any individual who spray, they go and spray. And they say spray 7 cans a day for your day.
I have a solution, Mr. Pedro, to banana. I have a real solution. But before I talk about it, I want to talk clearly so that people could understand the rural development zone or model, the structure of how it should work. It's a simple structure. As I said, the board should be about 5 people, not 12. And chief executive, assistant chief executive. And there should be a long line. So there should be a nutmeg czar or expert. There should be a banana czar or expert. Every area should have one person who's an expert in that area. And underneath them, they should have a team. And they should just focus on that one crop. And there should be a target for them to increase production by the end of the year. Because the current model of a chief agricultural officer clearly, in my mind, has not worked because I know, specialization quite often focuses you better than when you have responsibility for 20 areas. It's very hard to really push all those areas forward. So we want somebody who's just responsible for one area, pushing it forward. That person should have the resources, be it tractor service, be it tillers, be it cutlass, whatever. And there should be monthly progress reports coming from each of the sectors. If we say we're developing, say, 10 crops, we should have 10 ZARs, that the whole focus, the whole intelligence is on that in terms of not only production, but how we can improve it, how we can move to secondary processing, how we can move to export. There should be a person who is doing the strategic work for that sector. And the rest of the staffing should be on production.
What you going to do with the Ministry of Agriculture? Because when I hear you speak, it sounds as if you're replacing the Ministry of Agriculture.
Well, I think replacing the Ministry of Agriculture or thinning it down would not be a bad thing. So, you know, the way you talk, Mr. Pierre, in terms about the romanticism of chocolate or cocoa, it always makes me smile because I know you're right, and I know that the cocoa and making much money, if any, really. So I say, if you have something and it doesn't work, Coco is not a woman. You're not romantically involved with it. So you have to treat it as a business. If it's not working and every year it brings you deeper in debt, what is the point? It's not that I'm saying get rid of the Ministry of Agriculture, but if it's not working, why are you putting the burden on poor people to support and pay the wages of these highly educated people?
Maybe we have to look back at the government perhaps and the Ministry of Agriculture and the players and the farmers have to refocus on niche crops.
Hmm.
There are crops, no.
But who's going to do it?
That's why we speak. We provoke discussion.
Yes.
We don't know who's going to do it, but,
but-
we provoke discussion because if the farmers start to speak about it and they see it is logical and reasonable discussion and the advice and the suggestion we making on the table. Because you take, for instance, nobody can dispute what we're saying about soursop. Soursop is a fact that the market for it is exceptionally good. The farmers don't even have to go and harvest it. You know, the soursop, animals don't eat it. And within 3 years, you could have fruits.
Yeah.
Now, the government have to come in now. And that's where the government departments, the technical aspect, pest management unit, because soursop have pests. So you must have people to deal with pest management.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
They have to come and train the farmers in husbandry practice and pollination.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be from that service, has to come from the government.
No, I'm not saying it have to come from the government, but that have to be done.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Soursop definitely is a crop that we want to go and continue investing. Now we speak about cocoa and we speak about in Grenada with a lot of small farmers. I tell them it's just a romantic crop. You know, you like the idea of going and sell cocoa. You go down the road with your cocoa, you make some nice and etc.
My mother loves cocoa and she's totally in love with it. Don't cut her cocoa. She's not making a penny from it.
But let's face it, you have more millionaires in the world today than any other time in our history.
Yes.
When you have rich people, the cocoa is a crop that they will buy. They will buy chocolate. Chocolate's a romantic crop. We have not maximized our use of chocolate as a romantic crop. We have, what's the name of the time in Grenada where women were red and men bring them in hotel, and what time that is? Valentine. See, we are not very romantic men.
No. Age has caught up with me. You're talking about
When you
it.
get older,
I had no idea what you
when
were
you get
talking
older,
about.
you need to get more romantic.
Yes.
I mean, come on. You're 70 years old. You think it would be a nice thing to bring in a bouquet of flowers and a chocolate and a bottle of honey from Trippies for a 25-year-old. You feel good. You're 70
And
years old.
we should do that every month, because what I try and do every month is to buy a bottle of wine for myself and have a drink to just celebrate like
I
I've
prefer
had
to
some
buy a
sales.
bottle of wine for a young damsel.
Yeah.
Wish her well. But the fact remaining, the Ministry of Agriculture have the marketing arm. And they should market Valentine for the purpose of chocolate, honey, flowers. You market it. So you change the culture of the people to recognize that. You have Christmas time.
Yeah.
You have birthdays and holidays when people want to give their spouse chocolate.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to culture women to accept flowers because they might pelt it behind women.
But I remember when I was very young, I was in Sates. I'd come home for a little 3 weeks or whatever.
And you brought flowers.
No. I invited a very nice
damsel.
damsel for lunch, and she looked at me and she said, I look hungry to you.
Yeah, yeah. So so these things go on, but we have not. We could look at Israel.
Mhm,
Israel invested immensely in the flowers industry, and they
mhm,
make money.
mhm,
We
mhm.
bring in artificial flowers.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
claim we are
We,
environmentalists.
we are gold medalists, world leader in flowers, but there's no market, there's no trickle down in terms of flower and all that. So, Mr. Pierre, my point is this: a rural development agency will have to take a different approach. It will have to produce results. It can't just be that, oh, this is the Ministry of Agriculture year after year. That agency will have to be producing result, that or the chief executive have to go, or the czar has to go. Somebody has to go.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes you end up like the fire. When you say they are not performing, they have to go. And the authorities that BC, that is one of us. That we own people. These things are unfortunate because in a small country like ours,
Mhm,
but we believe that the source of industry is worthy of giving serious consideration. The
mhm,
beekeeping industry is dying there for the wanted. Then we have the CMOS, we
mhm,
have flowers, and
mhm.
farmers have to prepare not to plant back the entire land in cocoa and nutmeg.
One of the crops, Mr. Pierre, you were talking about, is sweet potatoes. There's a real demand for sweet potatoes, and we haven't come to terms with it. It might be because sweet potatoes requires intensive labor in terms of the beds and the maintenance and little fertilizer, etc. But sweet potato has a real demand.
One of the negatives of Grenada
Mm,
agriculture again,
mm.
we treat the big farmers with contempt.
Yeah.
So they don't say anything. They're
Mhm,
very quiet.
mhm,
But we have not been assisting the
mhm,
big farmers.
mhm,
So let us say, and again, I like to use names for people to understand. Let's say a farmer like Ramdani
mhm,
that has a land, a Belmont estate,
mhm,
and we wanted to introduce small ruminant in Grenada or let's say ginger.
mhm,
I would go to these people and ask them to plant 10 acres of ginger.
mhm. Yeah, makes
But
sense.
instead of that, the government going to get 200 farmers to give them £2 to plant ginger. The project must fail.
Yeah, so we need a different approach. So that's where I think the Rural Development Agency, with a fresh start, might be able to give us some of the results. It
Well,
might not be the panacea that I think it would be, but we need to move forward. And I hear what you're saying in terms of what will happen to the Ministry of Agriculture. It will have to be slimmed down, and deal with more strategy, more.
always remember,
Mm,
if we don't grow this economy, governments after government have to come back and employ people, whether they want or not,
mm,
whether they promise them permanent or temporary.
mhm,
The pressure will be on government to
mhm.
employ people.
Well, government, I know what would do. It will set up the Quango and take the ministry staff and put them to the Rural
Yeah.
Development
So,
Agency.
so what needs for us to do is to brainstorm. The government wouldn't take our suggestion, but if we push it outside and people start
Yeah.
discussing it and see the genuineness of the intention,
Hmm. But I was
authorities have to
involved.
do it.
I was involved with an agency when I was a young manager. They were responsible for 800,000 people. It was a local area. And it was one of the worst performing agency in the country. Um, and what they did in terms of addressing that situation, what was this? They got a certain set of new leaders and new key personnel to mix with the old staff, because the old staff was so bad. They would pass the phone will be ringing for an hour, and they wouldn't answer it. They'll just look at it and stoops and all, this kind of stuff. They will tell customer
Yes,
what
they
they
get
want.
fed up. And
Yeah.
we come to the end of our program, and we want to thank you immensely for being with us today. We know we were not able to get any calls from you, but we encourage you to share our program, subscribe to our program, like our program. We are the new kids on the block, and we provoke discussion on agriculture. Thank you very much.
Thank you and goodbye.